If we take a look at this chart, we can see that the popularity of MCP has been growing exponentially. From the moment it came out in 2024, it's been showing up on LinkedIn posts, Twitter posts, Reddit posts. When we take a look at the developer popularity with GitHub stars, it's been growing at a faster pace than popular frameworks like Pydantic AI, LangGraph, and many others. What seemed like just a hype is actually a breakthrough. Big company names like Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, Atlassian are already on board, and many others in this list.
Let me show you an example of an MCP. When we go to Claude, we can connect it to connectors. And when you go to manage, you can browse various connectors, and one of them is Notion. I'm gonna connect to it right now, and it will open a browser, and then you give it authentication. Alright, now when I use connector, I can activate it, and now I can actually ask questions about my Notion. So I have various pages on my Notion. I have monthly budget, health appointments, personal goals, grocery list, weekly habits, and let's say I want to figure out what are my fixed expenses. So I can say, what are my fixed expenses this month? And well, it doesn't know it's in Notion. It's in my Notion. So now it knows, okay, I'm gonna take a look at Notion, and we can see it's here, it's calling Notion. And it found the expenses right there. So let's check it. Rent $14.50, utilities $120, internet $65. Yep, that's it. And we can connect it with many things. You can connect it to Slack, Google Calendar, send emails, Drive, and many more. So now you know how to use an MCP in practice. What is an MCP and why is this a breakthrough? Let me give you a brief history. Traditionally, all old software was built with APIs. We have a client requesting for data, like users, and a server which returns the data, in this case, Bob. But then, the world started to change. ChatGPT came out in November 2022, and we entered the era of science fiction. At first, we were just trying to summarize PDFs, but that became boring quite quickly. If we can summarize PDFs, why not create the whole PowerPoint for us, or send emails? And in 2023, in June, OpenAI introduced tool calling, or function calling. Developers started to build autonomous agents en masse, and companies soon joined them. AI agents and customer support chatbots started to pop out from everywhere, and that is when the traditional APIs broke. We needed something that we could reuse across AI agents, a universal standard. And that is when Anthropic introduced the Model Context Protocol in November 2024. Time for a quiz to see if you really understand. What problem is MCP mainly trying to solve? Is it A, making AI models smarter? B, reusing the same tool and data connections across many AI systems? C, replacing APIs entirely? Or D, training AI models faster?
What is Model Context Protocol? Model Context Protocol is an open standard for how we can connect AI applications to external systems. Does that mean that if you use this protocol, you're locked into Claude? No, it's an open standard. It's a protocol like REST. Anyone can use it. Think of it like USBC for AI applications. Before we had USBC, remember those Nokia smartphones, Samsung phones? They all had their own charging cables. And then we had cameras and many other devices with their own cables. And if you wanted to connect it to your laptop, it was a pain as well. Lots of extra time and effort and many intertwined cables. And then there was a breakthrough, the USBC cable. Suddenly we could connect any device to this one cable. And we could just plug them into our USB hub and then plug it into our laptop.
Time to see if you have been paying attention. Why did USB-C win? Is it A, because it was faster than the others? B, because it was cheaper? C, because it reduced fragmentation? Or D, because it looked nicer?
This saves a lot of time and effort. Now, how does that relate to MCP?
Think of the apps that we use, Notion, Gmail, and Calendar, like the devices. And we can connect them all to a USB hub, which is the MCP protocol. And then we can connect that to the MCP client, which is like the laptop. Client in this case is like the brains of the operation. Claude, ChatGPT, Cursor, Moldbot, and the MCP servers, those are like the hands and feet, the tentacles that the AI can use to interact with the world. And the MCP protocol is what binds them. It can use the Notion MCP server to find information on your Notion for you. It can use the Gmail MCP server to send emails for you. You get the picture. Okay, so why is this such a breakthrough? Well, there are various business advantages here. It's built once, used everywhere. We only need to build one MCP server for Notion, and every AI agent can now use Notion. This saves a lot of development time. That is faster time to market. Alright, time for another quiz. Now we know about clients and servers. Let's go back to the example we showed in the beginning. When using Notion in Claude to find fixed monthly expenses, which is the client and which is the server? Put your answer in the comment section. Now, to test if you really understand the business advantages of MCP, can you give me 3 reasons why companies like MCP? Put your thoughts in the comment section. Another important aspect of MCP are the different ways of communication between clients and servers. There are 2 main types of communication: local communication and remote communication. Now let's start with local communication. Imagine the following situation. Sharon just bought a microwave. After one day, she figures out there's an issue.
Just won't heat anything up.
She brings the microwave to the store, talks with customer support.
Did you try turning this knob?
Customer support tells her some things she can try,
Oh, thank you so much.
and the issue gets resolved. Note that for this interaction, they both need to be there physically, locally in the store. So that's what this communication is all about. It's all happening locally in the system. Imagine the same scenario.
My microwave turns on, but it doesn't heat.
Try turning the power knob to high.
It works now.
Great, happy to help.
So now it's resolved on a phone call. This can happen completely remotely. However, notice one thing. The person on the phone call needs to be there during the whole conversation. We need to keep this person there. We need to keep track of some state, as how they define it in this communication style, server sent events. And in the background, there are 20 or more people in the call center. Now this is not scalable if just one of them is having a conversation. We need something better. And that was exactly the issue with this communication style. And that is when streamable HTTP came out. Rosita has the same issue. Instead of making a phone call, she submits a ticket issue through a form. There is an employee who has many tickets submitted online, answers them, and the customer receives the response: have you tried pressing this button, and a status update. She tries it out and it works. Now, what makes this protocol useful is that we can actually scale this. So this is great for business use case. Alright, we're going to play a little game called Which Transport Matches This Scene. Okay, so first scenario. Customer and agent are in the same place, helping each other face to face. Which transport matches the scene? Is it A, server-sent events, B, streamable HTTP, or C, standard input and output? Next question. Which transport matches this scene? The agent stays on the phone the entire time until the issue is fixed. Server-sent event, streamable HTTP, or standard input and output? And lastly, submitting customer tickets. I guess you can guess this one now. Put your answers to these questions in the comment section. Another common business question is, what about authentication? I don't want this MCP to have access to all of my information. How can I restrict it? What you need to remember is that in the end, an MCP is just a wrapper around an API. And just how we set user-based restrictions for APIs, we can do the same for an MCP. So let's take, for example, Confluence, and we can set various restrictions. We can set space permissions, page restrictions, and we can also set group-based permissions, user-based permissions. So in this case, you could only access certain pages on Confluence. So in this way, we can limit the amount of access someone has with an MCP server. Now, how does it work? It's just like bearer token authentication. You know how you go to a website and you log in with Google, and then you get this interface giving permissions to this and this website for this and this? Well, let me show you what happens when we try to connect to Notion. When I go here and I disconnect and I try to connect again, and when you see here, it's the same login interface. So it's asking me that through this MCP, it will be able to access all of these things. So you can give it permission here, and that way it can actually do the same things as you are able to do with your account in Notion right now. If there's one thing I want you to get from this video, is to go to your Claude ChatGPT client or other AI and add an MCP in there right now. That brings us to the end of the video. It will be really helpful if you smash that like button and press subscribe. And thank you for watching. See you in the next one.